afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Industry Now Live at 4 on this Thursday. We start a new chapter today.
Yes, we do. We're going to introduce you to our new resident veterinarian. So if you have a pet question that you'd like answered, we'll let you know when it's time to call in. We're very excited to welcome Dr. Carrie Donahue to Live at 4.
Looking forward to it. But first, here's what's making news on this Thursday. The state's Public Service Commission has decided there is probable cause to believe VC Tech broke state law on the day of the deadly Sun Prairie explosion.
A woman says a bullet grazed her while she was asleep early this morning on Madison's north side.
And CBS News has confirmed the mother of the suspected gunman in El Paso called police on her son weeks before Saturday's shootings.
Let's take a look outside on this Thursday. Beautiful summer afternoon. Great day to take a little bike ride.
Yeah, the humidity went down. This is the bike bridge over the Sugar River. Another nice day. That sort of sums it up, and I think another one's on tap. Dave Caulfield is in, or is it Dana?
It's Dana, I believe.
Y'all.
It's Dana. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I actually, I came out here about 10 minutes ago to get the camera shot set up, and I've been sitting here out on the patio. I just pulled up a chair. There was no reason to go back inside at all. It's so nice outside right now. I'm a big fan when we have a drop in these dew points. We have a light blue sky over Madison. A look with our Edgewater sky cam. It's at 77 currently in Madison and in Lone Rock, 81 in Janesville with those dew points in the 50s compared to this time yesterday. It is quite a drop in our dew points, about a 12-degree drop in Madison, a 14-degree drop in Mineral Point. So it does feel quite a bit more comfortable outside. Still very seasonal, though. Nothing new coming in on our Doppler track. That's the good news. It's going to stay dry today. And as we look ahead to your Friday, plan on another sunny, nice day. The weekend might bring a few isolated showers, though. We'll take a closer look at what's ahead for Saturday and Sunday in just a few minutes. On the roads currently, we do not have any major accidents to report. That's always good news. We do have those delays, though, of course, on the eastbound side of the Beltline. Westbound, you're looking just a little better, but eastbound, of course, stretching through Rimrock, Fish Hatchery up to John Nolan. The speeds there reduced down to about 20 to 30 miles per hour. North of Madison to Forest, Waunakee should be smooth sailing for this evening. 27 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, 17 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and 15 minutes for your evening commute from Sun Prairie to downtown. And it should be a very pleasant evening indeed. Temperature-wise, we'll stay pretty comfortable for the next several hours. So I hope you're able to get outside and enjoy it. If not, the good news, we're going to get a repeat performance for Friday afternoon. But again, we'll take a look at that in just a few minutes.
Thank you.
The subcontractor who struck a natural gas main causing the deadly explosion in Sun Prairie last summer will now pay a nearly $28,000 fine. The state's Public Service Commission found probable cause that VC Tech broke Wisconsin law.
Our Rose Schmidt is here now to explain the lesson that commissioners say they're hoping companies will learn, Rose.
Yeah, so the state decided today that VC Tech employees should have known that they needed to call Diggers Hotline before digging in Sun Prairie last summer. The three commissioners unanimously voted that VC Tech will have to pay a $25,000 fine, another $2,500 to Diggers Hotline to go into a damage prevention fund, and also attend an educational course. VC Tech was working for contractor Bear Communications to install a fiber optics line for Verizon Wireless last July when workers struck a gas main leading to a deadly explosion. Commissioners called their decision today a wake-up call for the industry.
I hope what happens today is that the people who are in the business of locating, marking, and then ultimately excavating and putting this equipment into the ground understands that this is extremely serious. Safety is a top priority, and the one-call law's purpose is to prevent the type of tragedy that happened in Sun Prairie.
VC Tech's lawyer did not respond to our request for comment today, but previously had argued that Bear Communications workers told them they were okay to dig and didn't need to call Diggers Hotline. The complaint against VC Tech was filed last year by USIC Locating Service. That's the company contracted to mark the utility lines. USIC's lawyer told me in a statement today that the company is very pleased with the state's decision.
All right, Rose, thanks for the update.
Thank you, Rose. Madison police believe that speed and alcohol played a role in a crash on East Washington Avenue that killed a man and injured his wife early this morning. 32-year-old Antoine Temple of Madison faces several charges, including intoxicated use of a motor vehicle, hit and run causing death, and operating a motor vehicle while under the influence, third offense. The crash happened around 1 o'clock this morning shooting in the 1400 block of East Washington Avenue. Police say the 71-year-old victim from Chicago was rear-ended by Temple. Witnesses say the victim was driving the speed limit, but Temple was going between 80 and 100 miles per hour at the time of the crash. Police say Temple and 2 passengers ran from the crash scene, but Temple and 1 passenger returned. Another male passenger has not been located. The man from Chicago was killed in the crash, and his 69-year-old wife suffered minor injuries.
Police say a woman hit by a stray bullet early this morning happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The place was her bedroom in her North Side apartment on Kennedy Heights as she was trying to sleep. Catherine Almeida tells us that she was returning to bed around 1:15 this morning and sat down when she heard a gunshot and felt pain in her arm. Emergency responders and police arrived, finding a bullet in her bed. It had just grazed her arm, but she says seconds later she would have laid down and it could have hit her in the face. She says it's not rare to hear gunshots in her neighborhood and has a message for the shooters.
I just wish that they would just take one moment, just pause before pulling that trigger and think about the consequences, the damage that it could do to someone else.
Police say this easily could have been the city's first statistical homicide of the year. They say shots fired incidents are down this year compared to last.
We're learning more today about a call that the mother of the suspected El Paso shooter made to police weeks before Saturday's attack at the Walmart that left 22 people dead. Lisa Mateo has the latest.
At a special city council meeting Thursday, El Paso's police chief said the investigation at the Walmart is expected to continue for weeks while authorities gather minute evidence.
When I say minute evidence, I don't want to get gory here, but the scene is picking up human remains actually there.
CBS News confirms the mother of El Paso shooting suspect Patrick Crucius called police in Allen, Texas, weeks before the massacre because she was concerned about her son owning an AK-style assault rifle. But his family's attorney said Lori Crucius had, quote, absolutely no fear of violence nor any belief of an intent to do harm. Instead, she was concerned about her 21-year-old son's age and lack of experience with that type of firearm. She did not identify herself or her son to police. The attorney says the Allen Police Department did not file the call or follow up, and a public safety officer told Lori her son was legally old enough to purchase the weapon. And in Dayton, Ohio, where a gunman killed 9 people less than a day later, one survivor says he's one of the lucky ones.
I seen probably about 4 people that had got hit, laid on the sidewalk.
As bullets flew past, Cameron Crowder jumped on top of his girlfriend, Brittany Dungy, to shield her from the gunfire.
I thought for sure that it was going to be my last day really being alive. It was really about me getting her out of the way and, make sure that she was safe.
Police quickly shot and killed the shooter, 24-year-old Connor Betts. Authorities are still searching for his motive. Lisa Mateo, CBS News, New York.
This morning, Ohio's governor announced a pediatric mental health summit next month to help children deal with the Dayton shooting as well as other traumatic events.
A major report by the United Nations says climate change is creating a food crisis. The United Nations warns the way we produce and eat food is destroying the land. The UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change says warmer climate means more deserts and potentially less food, which could lead to an increase in migration across borders. That's already shaping politics in the U.S., Europe, and around the world. The report recommends a gradual transition to a more plant-centered diet. That would help. Police in Watertown are looking into reports of vandalism at Oak Hill Cemetery.
Veterans' graves have been targeted, and a reward is now being offered to find those responsible. Eric Franke is here with the details. Eric?
Susan and Mark, there have been multiple complaints of small graveside flags being either damaged or stolen, about 140 of them, so it's not a small number here. The Watertown PD received those complaints and then posted about them on Facebook. And now the local American Legion Post 189 in Watertown is offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to the arrests of anyone responsible for that damage. Now, groundskeepers have been noticing the missing and damaged flags since June.
They're trying to show their respect to all the veterans in the cemetery, and somebody's coming, removing them, breaking them, stealing them, whatever they're doing, and they put flags back out. Somebody comes and does it again, and at this point we want to find whoever's doing it.
Anyone with information is asked to call the Watertown Police Department. You can also text in your tips anonymously. We have more information on how you can do that in our story up at channel3000.com. And they are taking this seriously. Adults could face a fine or even jail time for misdemeanor damage to property. If it's juveniles doing it, obviously it would go through the juvenile court. Mark and Susan.
Eric, thank you.
Well, still to come at 4. Are you ready for a meatless Whopper? Burger King hopes so.
We'll find out more and why some people are saying the burger is not completely meatless. That's when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, Major League Baseball is making good on the famous movie quote, "If you build it, they will come."
This is pretty exciting. The Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees will play at Iowa's famous Field of Dreams. The field in Dyersville, Iowa was made for the 1989 movie with the same name, starring Kevin Costner. A new 8,000-seat stadium will be built next to the original field because there's no way.
Look at it.
Yeah, there's no way it could accommodate 2 of those teams, but the teams will play a regular season game. Mark your calendar. It's August 13th. Next year. It will be the first time a major league game has ever been played there.
It's going to be nationally televised.
That's going to be really exciting. Burger King is best known, of course, for the Whopper, but now the fast food giant is offering an alternative.
A flame-broiled version that contains no meat. The Impossible Whopper's patty is a plant-based product that looks like beef. The burger is the creation of Impossible Foods, which uses soy and potato protein, along with other ingredients. Another company called Beyond Meat does something similar. The Impossible Burger costs $1 more than a traditional Whopper. Burger King is currently the largest outlet offering the meatless product, but likely won't be the last. That's because demand is growing. Sales of plant-based foods are up more than $1 billion in the past 2 years.
I think we are going to see more restaurants offering this, and I really think it's going to take shape in other types of menu items beyond just burgers and tacos and pizza.
Burger King revealed on its website the burgers will be prepared on the same broiler where they cook many of their beef and chicken burgers. The meat-free burgers has almost the same number of calories as the beef version. McDonald's offers a vegan burger in Germany and is reportedly discussing meatless options in the U.S. And chicken giant Tyson is rolling out a plant-based chicken nugget. Stocks rallied on Wall Street because government bond yields rebounded. The Dow Industrials surged 371 points, ending the day at 26,378. The Nasdaq Composite Index gained 176. The S&P 500 was up 54. Well, it's almost the weekend in the 608.
Madison Magazine Associate Editor Joel Patnod is here with what's happening around town this weekend. Hi, Joel.
Hi, Joel.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's start with a little theater.
Yeah, there's a couple musicals this weekend. In Middleton, Players Theater is probably putting on the bigger of the two. They're doing Disney's Beauty and the Beast. It's a big costume productions with 5 shows starting tonight through Sunday afternoon at the Middleton Performing Arts Center. Of course, that's the story of the young woman Belle who tries to tame and transform the Beast back into the prince he was. But we'll have to see how they handle the singing teapot and dancing furniture.
Michael Bruno's going backstage of this production, and you can see that tomorrow here on Live at 4.
Excellent.
All right, we got Annie Jr.?
Annie Jr. So this is a scaled-down version of Annie, the little orphan Annie story in the 1930s of New York City. This is being performed by the young actors enrolled in the Children's Theater of Madison summer stage session. But they'll be telling the story at the Playhouse in the Overture Center.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Nice big stage, and that's tonight and tomorrow night.
Okay, how about a little music?
Well, a little or a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
that's your choice. But the sessions at McPike Park, home of Fête de Marquette.
Right.
Okay.
That's
on the east side?
The sessions started last night, continue tonight and tomorrow night. Tonight, though, the headliner is all the way from St. Louis. The rock and twang of the Bottle Rockets. But they will be playing an 80-minute set just as long as the Madison Power Pop band Bing Bong, which will open, and then the long-running rock band The Figs in between. Then tomorrow night, the evening starts with Madison Steel Drum Ensemble Panchromatic Steel, then the Iguanas, which is a roots rock band from Chicago, and Lyrics Born, a rapper from San Francisco. So a lot of variety.
A lot of music.
Next 2 nights.
How about something a little quieter?
Yes, if you want something a little more contemplative, classical, shall we say, there's the Madison New Music Festival. Now, it's taking place in various locations, Friday through Sunday, but the highlight has got to be the concert tomorrow night at the Madison Museum of Contemporary Art, where new works, all by young classical composers, will have their works premiered, so heard by public audiences for the first time.
Oh, that's what an opportunity.
And what a venue.
Yes, just beautiful.
Lots going on.
Yeah.
Great weather, too. Get out and enjoy it.
Yeah, it should be.
Joel, thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
Get this month's Madison Magazine for all of the best in the Madison area. There's more to come at 4. Melissa Kim will join us live from Green Bay ahead of the Packers' first preseason game.
Football is back, and then coming up tonight at 5, a new program is trying to change the way locally grown produce finds its way to your dinner table in southern Wisconsin. That's coming up at 5.
this, come together. That's what hundreds of Beatle fans did today in front of the iconic Abbey Road studios to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the band's photo shoot for the album. John, Paul, George, and Ringo strutted across the street in front of the recording studio on August 8, 1969, creating what is now one of the most famous album covers of all time. 50 years later, fans still flock to St. John's Wood in North London to recreate the picture. Why? Because it certainly was something, and that was the perfect day to take pictures. Here comes the sun. Quick, get that perfect Facebook-worthy shots. But in the end, it was worth it.
That is some good writing there, Mark.
Was that you?
Yes, that was me.
Okay.
I had to look up all the songs on the Google, but yeah.
On the Google. But you did it. You did it.
50 years ago. That's hard to believe.
It is hard to believe.
Oh my gosh. And there's so many people there. That's wild.
Every year. There's still Beatle fans all over.
Yeah.
Including our producer.
It's true. It's true. That's who I thought wrote the story, actually. It was very Matt-like. So.
That was Mark.
It was Mark.
It's all Mark.
Good job.
Thank you. And good job on the weather.
It's beautiful outside. The sun has arrived. The sun's going to stay. It's really going to be a nice evening. If you have any plans outside, I would certainly recommend scheduling your stuff outside if you can. Friday also looks wonderful, but the weekend might bring just a slight chance for some showers. Let's take a closer look at the rest of the week and the weekend right after the break. Overall, it has been a beautiful day, not just a beautiful afternoon and evening. We started off the day in a really beautiful spot. This is a picture from Fort Atkinson. Joel Templeton sending this in to us. A beautiful shot of the sunrise. You see a little mist, a little steam on the water. We've had some really pretty and colorful sunrises and sunsets, and now we're in a nice, comfortable spot. You can actually get outside and enjoy the sunrise and sunset. Also, here's a live look from Platteville with our Queen Bee Radio Sky Camo. Nice blue sky. Our Doppler track is quiet. We don't have anything new moving in. Not just for tonight, but even stretching into your Friday. It should be pretty pleasant outside. That cold front that brought our strong thunderstorms yesterday evening And some of those severe thunderstorms also now well off to the east, pushing those storms towards the Atlantic coast into the New England area. Now we're just looking at a nice clear sky with some high pressure ridging on in. We will stay quiet thanks to that high pressure overnight into Friday and for most of your weekend. Can't say for all of the weekend, though, unfortunately. 77 in Madison right now, 81 along the Lake of Milwaukee, and 80 in La Crosse. So a really comfortable day throughout the state. Temperatures compared to this time yesterday, just a little bit of a drop, a few degrees. Dew points, though, in the 50s. That's the bigger drop, of course. Drops in the teens, about a 12-degree drop for Madison and Dubuque, but a 15-degree drop in La Crosse and in Marshfield. So it just feels more comfortable outside, of course, when our dew points are lower. Overnight, we'll stay mostly clear with a light breeze coming from the northwest. Friday also looks mostly sunny and really pleasant outside. Now by Saturday, we may have a few clouds building on in. Temperature-wise, we'll stay pretty comfortable. It'll still be a little warm outside, but later in the day, there is going to be a slight chance for some isolated showers developing late and overnight into Sunday. Sunday is also going to have that slight chance for us for an isolated shower or a thunderstorm. Not a great risk for any sort of storms coming on through, but something, of course, that we'll be keeping an eye on heading into the weekend. Would rather keep it dry, but a few isolated showers is not quite a washout. Overnight lows will drop to the mid-50s by Friday morning, so it is going to be very comfortable outside early on in the day. And then throughout the afternoon, as we stay mostly sunny, temperatures will be back in the upper 70s, close to 80 for those afternoon highs. Saturday morning will fall to the upper 50s for our overnight lows. And again, that slight chance for showers and thunderstorms will develop later on in the evening and overnight. So far, if we look from August to August, so our 365-day period, not the stretch of the calendar year, but a year from August to August, we are in the third place for the wettest stretch right now. Notice, though, the number one and number two spots in pretty recent history for us, and we're pretty close there, not far behind in third place. We picked up just over 1/10 of an inch on the 3rd, but almost 1.25 inches on the 5th of rainfall, and then just over 1/10 of an inch for us on the 7th. So far, we've picked up almost 1.5 inches of rain in August. It's been a wet month so far, but of course, we're already up for the whole year, so it would be nice just to get a little break, or when those showers come through, not pick up much. Those 1/10 of an inch amounts are nicer to see. Overnight, thanks to that clear sky, our temps are going to just fall over the next several hours. Again, landing in the mid-50s for our overnight lows starting off our Friday. That mostly clear sky, and it's just going to be very comfortable outside tomorrow. Very, very pleasant. 79 the high for your Friday. And we get to keep the sunshine into Saturday. Also, Saturday and Sunday will both be partly sunny. We don't have anything much moving in, but there may be an isolated shower or thunderstorm late on Saturday, overnight into Sunday. Sunday and Monday will bring a slight chance for storms. Temperatures both days will be just a wee bit above average, and then we drop back down for the middle of the week. And then looking ahead to the end of next week and the weekend, it does seem like we have quite a bit of a warm-up stretch as temperatures will start to climb and a little more humidity moves in as well. That's a quick look at your forecast.
All right, Dana, thank you. For years, UW veterinarian Sandy Sawchuk answered your pet questions, and Sandy is getting ready to enjoy her retirement, so we set out to find someone to take her place.
And what tough shoes to fill, but we are very happy to welcome Dr. Carrie Donahue to Live at 4 from the Full Circle Holistic Veterinary Care Clinic on Monroe Street. Hi, Carrie. We're thrilled to have you join us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So great to see you. So tell us a little bit about your approach to veterinary care.
So the name of my clinic is Full Circle Holistic Veterinary Care. So I really focus on a holistic approach to animal wellness and animal disease and illness. And when I say holistic approach, I really mean kind of like a whole body approach. So not just looking at physical symptoms that might present, but also looking at nutrition, looking at lifestyle, looking at some other aspects of the animal when I'm trying to, think about what I can do to help them or to keep them as healthy as possible.
And you also do more traditional veterinary care as well, so it's sort of a full circle.
Right, exactly. It really is, yes.
And are you seeing more and more people interested in that approach?
Yes, absolutely. I think, sometimes animals just don't get better with traditional veterinary medicine, you know, or sometimes people want to look for something that's a little bit different. And oftentimes when I'm evaluating a patient and I'm thinking about treatment options, I kind of go a step beyond medications and surgery and really try to incorporate some of the alternative therapies like acupuncture, supplements, herbals, nutrition. So it's kind of, yeah, something that a lot of people are really starting to look for, just a different approach.
It's all around health, raw foods.
Yeah, we talk a lot about nutrition. I think nutrition is the basis for health. So, yes.
All right, so we're going to take calls like you did with Sandy. 270-9933 is the number to call. So if you have any pet questions, traditional or holistic, or anything in between, give us a call, and Dr. Carey will take your call. 270-9933. We'll get to your calls after the break. Here's a live look at the Osprey cam. This is coming from West Sacramento, California. That is cool. That's actually live.
Carrie, we did that just for you today. That is really something to see.
Really
Isn't that
is.
interesting?
We are taking your pet calls today with veterinarian Carrie Donahue from Full Circle Holistic Veterinary Care. And you got lots of calls here, so let's get to it. We're going to start with Mark in Beloit. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how you doing?
Great.
Hey,
What's your question?
I want to know about heartworm. Can you touch bases on heartworm and why are we testing for heartworm?
Well, heartworm disease is something that is transmitted by mosquitoes, and It is a low risk here in Wisconsin, but it is definitely a risk to dogs that might be outside. So that's why we recommend monthly heartworm preventative, just to protect animals from getting heartworm disease, which is transmitted by mosquitoes.
Are there shots, or do you just give them the little pills?
It is the little pill. So it is a little chewable tablet that you give once a month. And some veterinarians recommend doing it during mosquito season, so starting in the spring and then ending up in the fall or after we get a good frost. But now the recommendations are even moving towards doing it all year round because, you know, with the temperatures rising, we just never know when mosquitoes are completely gone. So oftentimes we recommend giving the heartworm preventative once a month year round.
And it's fatal, right?
It can be fatal, right.
All right, let's go to Deborah in DeForest. Hi, Deborah, what's your question?
Hi, Dr. Carey. This is Deborah, and you helped me with 2 dogs that I adopted, Teddy and Franklin. One was 11, one was 14 when I got them, and you were just great. And here's my question. I heard that the state of Wisconsin is thinking of asking us to stop importing dogs from other states because they're afraid of various diseases. And I'm just wondering, aren't they overreacting here that we can treat these dogs and make them adoptable?
Yes, this is a pretty, hot topic right now. So the regulations that might be coming out will require animals coming into Wisconsin to be tested for and proven negative for brucellosis, which is a reproductive disease, and heartworm disease, which we were just talking about. So if those regulations go through, that means it will be harder for animals to come from other places to Wisconsin to get adopted here. So it's something that's going to have to play out, and we'll have to see what happens, but there will be additional testing, which again will make it harder for adoptable animals.
We'll have to follow that.
It's not a done deal yet.
It is not a done deal.
All right.
No.
Let's go to Lori in Janesville. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Hi,
how are you all?
Great.
Great.
What's
Thanks for calling.
My question is, I actually have 2 questions. I have a cat that's probably about 10 years old, and he pretty much lives at his dish, meaning he sits by his dish no matter how many times we feed him a day. He's always crying and wanting us to feed him.
Sounds like my cat. I have the same problem, Lori.
And your second question?
And my second question is, I have a dachshund. He's going to be 14 years old, and he's always had that, what do they call it, inside-out sneeze?
Reverse sneezing.
Yeah, but he's doing something different now that's similar to that, and it sounds like he's having a hard time breathing, and I don't think it's that same thing. I think it's something different.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, thinking about your cat that has kind of like the overactive appetite, one thing that I would recommend, and this is something that is common in older cats, hyperthyroidism is something that I see, and what hyperthyroidism does is it's an overactive thyroid gland, and when the thyroid gland is overactive, then the metabolism becomes higher. So cats have more energy, but they also want to eat all the time. Despite not particularly gaining weight, they're always active, and they can start to vocalize a bit more too. So my recommendation would be go to your veterinarian and have some blood work done just to be able to say, yes, hyperthyroidism is happening and we can treat that, or to see if there is anything else that might be going on.
All right, how about the dachshund?
And the dog with the breathing. I often think that when they do this reverse sneezing, that it can result from allergies.
Now, what is that exactly? Reverse sneezing?
Reverse sneezing in dogs is where they're actually when we sneeze and we're sneezing outward, they're actually breathing in, and so it's kind of like a reverse of what a human sneeze would be. It can happen in dogs that have allergies where there is inflammation in the respiratory tract. So I think kind of as the dog is getting older, there might be more inflammation, and so that might be something that I would think about doing is maybe talking to your veterinarian about supplements that you could do to really help with that inflammation.
Okay.
All right. We have time for one more call. Terry from Mineral Point. Hi, Terry.
Hey, I have a question for the doctor. We have a 10-year-old yellow lab. My wife got test strips, and she tested positive for diabetes. and she drinks water constantly. We try to limit how much she takes in because she will drink until she throws it up. My question is, what is she feeling when she lays and whines? I want to, I'd like to know more what I can do for her. We are going to treat the diabetes when our veterinarian here in Middle Point can get us insulin shots, I guess is what it will be.
Right.
But my concern is when she lays and whines, what she might be feeling.
If only they could talk to us.
I know, right? That would make everything so much easier. So I guess my top recommendation to you would be go into your veterinarian, like you said you're going to do, and get your dog started on insulin, and that might make everything better. I think when they are suffering from diabetes and the water balance is off, they're always thirsty, they're often always hungry, they might be urinating a lot. So we don't really know if there is a pain component, but certainly it could be very uncomfortable. And getting your dog started on the insulin will help to regulate the blood sugar and might make them feel a lot better.
All right. Well, thanks for everyone for calling in. Thank you for your time. We'll do this once a month or so. How's that sound?
Perfect.
Looking forward to it. Carrie, welcome aboard.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for your calls, everybody.
We'll head to Lambeau right after this.
Good news, still no accidents to report, but of course more folks are getting on the roads. We keeping an eye on things, and more people on the roads doesn't mean that traffic's starting to go just a little slower. Here's a look at East Washington. It's Toten Road. Of course, the stoplights, things get backed up a little bit, but it seems like most of the traffic has been able to roll through pretty okay when the light turns green. Again, no major accidents to report right now. Disabled vehicle there heading on 90 towards Milwaukee, but it's blocking the shoulder. The belt line just before Fish Hatchery Road reduced down to the teens for those speeds, but thankfully the closer you get to the west or the further west you are heading eastbound, speeds are just fine. Westbound side doesn't look too bad at all today, actually. On the Isthmus, John Nolan heading in downtown, you start to get into a few delays in spots, but it's just around the corners for us. From DeForest up to Dane, things look okay. Wanakee, though, we do have significant delays on 113. From Janesville to the Beltline, it'll take you just about 27 minutes, 16 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, and then the drive from Sun Prairie to downtown's got just a little longer than usual, about 18 minutes this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Dana, and now the first alert traffic update from Biddeford, Maine.
Oh.
4 lanes of traffic came to a halt when a mother duck and her, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 little ones followed behind her.
Oh, I love it.
If that wasn't enough to snarl up traffic, you see traffic is backing up. There was another group waiting to cross the street. Another 21 of them. And 2 stragglers.
Oh, that's the best.
They took their good-natured time. Fortunately, people were patient with the traffic. Nobody tried to get... Here's, look at this.
Oh, look at that.
Another 21.
It's a duck party. That's great.
And there was 2 stragglers at the end that just decided. But anyway, traffic eventually got moved. Look how long the lines were getting. Well, it might not be crisp weather, but football is in the air.
That's right. Football season is back. The Green Bay Packers host their first preseason game tonight against the Houston Texans. News 3 Now Sports, Melissa Kim is in Green Bay right now with a preview of the season. The Packers are back. Hi, Melissa.
Hi there, Mark and Susan. You know, if only the traffic getting to Lambeau was just as orderly as those ducklings, I feel like we could have gotten here a lot faster. But anyways, as you can tell by the traffic and everything, people are excited for football. Football is back, even though it's only preseason game number 1. The Packers hosting the Texans, a team they've played host to for this entire week. They had joint practices earlier this week. Of course, much of the attraction being to J.J. Watt, the Badger State native and former Wisconsin player himself. But yeah, in terms of the weather, it's pretty nice out here. I'm not going to lie. You guys are not quite crisp yet, but there's a nice little breeze. It's like mid-70s. Perfect preseason football weather, guys.
And we have a new head coach this season. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's correct. We have Matt LaFleur, first experience as a head coach, first year for this team. And, you know, after more than a decade of Mike McCarthy, it's kind of a good added change perhaps for this team. Maybe things were getting a little comfortable here. Some might even call it stale. But Matt LaFleur definitely implementing his style right away. During training camp, he told us that he wanted players to pick up the pace a little bit, you know, get a little bit faster, get moving in between drills, not necessarily, you know, take your time in between things. And we're probably going to see that for sure out here today. Also, he's definitely putting his rules down right away. There's no fighting in practice. That's a hard rule for Matt LaFleur. If you do get caught fighting and you're a veteran, you have to play more minutes during preseason football. And if you're a rookie, you get fewer minutes. So he's kind of playing to the psychology opposite of what they want to do in preseason football, if you will.
He's a dad. He's implementing the dad rules. Now, what about quarterback Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to play tonight, and is he healthy, Melissa?
I would not expect him to play, if anything, not that much tonight. He did suffer that concussion to end out the regular season last year against the Lions. So health, you know, he spent the offseason improving himself, getting a lot better. We saw him a lot during training camp, you know, able to throw the ball, those long balls to guys like Jimmy Graham, Devontae Adams. Those are probably going to be his 2 major targets this season. Jimmy Graham, of course, saying that he feels like he has something to prove for this team because he felt like he hasn't performed quite well in the last season here.
And there's been a lot of talk about how Rodgers and LaFleur might get along or butt heads as the season progresses.
Yeah, you know, because I think that the age gap, it's only 4 years. You know, McCarthy was quite a bit older than Aaron Rodgers. Matt LaFleur, 39. Aaron Rodgers is 35. So they say they have fun. What that fun might entail, that remains to be seen. But Rodgers was definitely critical of LaFleur's practices earlier this week during training camp against the Texans, particularly the special teams ones, saying that, safety of the players should be number one, and he was doing those live drills, which are technically a little bit more risky in terms of injury.
And J.J. Watt, back in Wisconsin. It's kind of exciting, even though he's playing for the other team.
He is, yeah. Very excited. We have not seen him yet here out on the field, but, he's been saying all week long how he used to be one of those little kids outside the fence at Rainichke Field trying to get a glimpse of the players riding the bikes and, watching Brett Favre here on the field when he was growing up. So he's really just excited to be here. He said even if he doesn't play, he's just excited to be at Lambeau.
All right. Football is back.
Oh, best time of the year. Here we go.
Kickoff 7 o'clock tonight at Lambeau. Melissa will have highlights later newscast. Thanks.
Have fun, Melissa. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with a final check of your weather. Beautiful evening.
Gorgeous outside right now. Nice and sunny. Temperatures are nice and comfortable. And tomorrow is just going to be a repeat of today. So if you have any plans for today or tomorrow, you should be all good to go. Here's a live look with our Edgewater Skycam. Blue sky, a few clouds. The water looks good right now. Also, temperatures are in the upper 70s for most of the area. 81 in Janesville, about 77 in Monroe, Mineral Point, and Lode Rock. About 73 in Viroqua. And again, those dew points, that really tells how comfortable it is outside. They've dropped quite a bit in the 50s now, a 12-degree drop in Madison, an 18-degree drop in Mineral Point. So it is delightful outside. I hope you're able to get outside and enjoy the evening.
That makes a big difference at dew points.
It does, yes.
All right, Dana, thank you.
Thanks, Dana.
Tomorrow here on Live at 4, Consumer Reports has advice on making our household appliances last longer.
And Michael Bruno goes backstage at Middleton Players Theater's production of Beauty and the Beast. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. In today's Final Touch, if a trip to Rome